Hey, you guys, I just got a minute to get on here. We have 1 hour and 3 minutes left of the fast. I pray that all of you are managing very well. I don't know what you guys are planning on eating later, but I figured I'd share what I made. This is something I haven't even tasted it yet. It's cold over where I'm at, but basically I made this soup. If you are familiar with it, it's like an Italian soup stew. It's called ribollita. It has celery, onions, carrots, olive oil, garlic, sauteed with some tomatoes, Roma tomatoes chopped up. It's very cheap, guys. That's why I'm giving you guys the recipe, because it's very comforting. It's very soothing. It's healthy this time of year. And then I made my own chicken broth, but you don't have to make your own, out of some chicken bones, celery, onions, and carrots that cooked the other day. And I put it in a jar and I used that. And then you do 3 cans of cannellini beans and you put that in. And then the rind of a Parmesan Reggiano block, and you put that in and you let that cook for like 30 minutes after you saute the veg and everything like that. And then you add the broth. You add that stuff in, let it come to a boil, and let it simmer for about 30 minutes. And then you take out about a third of the beans, carrots, celery, and onions, and you blend it in a blender and put that back in. You add some black pepper, and you literally add up chopped kale. If you know, you know. And then you sprinkle some Parmesan Reggiano, and you put some black pepper on top. It is so good with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil on top. And then I have some Caputo flour bread that's about to go into the oven that I'm making to go with it. It's a very cheap, easy meal, and I'm going to have some type of protein with it, like chicken or something like that. But I just wanted to share that with you guys because you guys will always ask me, some of you guys that follow me on my personal Facebook, like for recipes and stuff like that. And that is so easy. It's so cheap. It's so good. And a lot of you guys, like at this time of year, have a hard time cooking for just yourself. And I have so many recipe and ideas that I can give you that I used to use that are very, very helpful. So, like for instance, making a big batch of that, you can freeze it, all that. And I like to see, like I said, guys, I want to help you guys with more than just your marriages. That's why I'm a restoration life coach. So now that I rambled about that, okay, I just wanted to help you guys out with something like that because a lot of you guys say that you want some ideas and things like that. So I figured I'd put that out there. What I wanted to interject here, guys, is accept where you're at. Okay. So oftentimes, too many of you, the ones especially that like we've been working together for a long time, you guys know this. But the ones that we don't work together that often, or like it's like you're here and you're there, I want to make sure that this is out there. Accept where you are. Any regular client of mine knows that I go over this all the time. You can't make yourself feel something and be something that you haven't yet got to and addressed. So for instance, everybody here wants to experience marriage restoration, but you can't make yourself get somewhere that you're not. You can't make yourself. You have to accept where you're at. So if you're in a season right now where you're angry, you have to allow yourself to be angry. Because if you don't allow yourself, you're forcing yourself to do something you're not ready. This is where, when you allow yourself to grieve, like for instance, I went over this the other day, like for instance, like when there's deaths, okay? You have to go through the stages of a death. You're going to be angry. You're going to be, in the whole bribing stage, like to where you're almost like bargaining. It's like insane. Like you go through these motions, and anybody that's unfamiliar, look up the stages of death, like the grief that you go through, like the stages of it. It will show you, and you guys are going through this too. Okay? The difference is your spouse isn't dead, but what you're feeling is you're feeling the same stages, because right now the marriage is dead. So you're feeling the same motions. You have to allow yourself to feel those motions. Okay? If you don't allow yourself to feel those motions, what do you think is going to end up happening? You're going to think like that you did the work. You think you're ready. This is another thing. You think you're ready when you're not, and then when God's not sending your spouse back, you don't know. Or for instance, false starts. You know how common false starts are. I have so many people I work with that have had false starts. I let them learn for themselves. I don't say anything. I let them learn for themselves, because see, if the work isn't done in you, okay, God knows that it's just going to fall apart again. This is why, to get to the point to where God knows you're ready, because again, being ready doesn't mean all the work in general is done. We're going to be doing work till the day that we die. But when God gets you to a point to where he says, all right, my son or my daughter is ready, okay, to be able to receive the real work, that's when the real work's beginning, guys. So if you don't allow yourself to have this time to grieve, to be angry, to heal, to feel sadness, to feel, what's the word for it? All the emotions. That's kind of like what I'm going through right now with the death of my loved ones. I'm still in it. I'm still in it. And I went through this with the marriage. Now I'm going through this with that. I kind of like went through it at the same time too, though. Like it was like at one point it was the same, and then it transitioned to like still in this. I'm still healing. But there's days I wake up angry and mad. Okay? Then there's days that I am so hurt that I can't see straight. Then there's days to where I'm just like, why, God? Why did this happen? Why did you allow this? And I go through this on a daily motion, and I'm not going to try to get myself to say I'm healed, okay? Because I'm not healed right now. So why would I tell somebody something that's not true? Okay? This is where you have to accept where you're at, because if you don't accept where you're at, all you're doing is just pretty much playing games back and forth. So how can you expect to get to where you're going, to be able to handle it good, if you're not allowing yourself and accepting where you're at? So if you're angry, you need to allow yourself to be angry. Don't stay there, but you need to allow yourself to be angry. If you're sad and you're broken, you need to allow yourself to be sad and broken. If you're in a place to where you are so upset, confused, and basically feel abandoned by God, you got to allow yourself to feel that way, because all of that's going to lead into the revelation of God, of understanding it and having eyes to see and revelation to it. So you got to accept where you are. And I don't mean just accept where you are. I mean truly accept where you are. If you know, like for instance, we need to also stop trying to make it like we're somewhere that we're not. Like a lot of people, they just want to say, I think I'm in restoration. Okay? And you very well could be. But we also need to understand that restoration and in the stages of restoration for your marriage are different. Right now, we're trying to work on restoration of you, guys. We're trying to work on restoration of you. Once you experience restoration of you, okay, this is when you're going to experience, and I'm not even kidding, you're going to experience everything under the sun. Because see, God's trying to restore you guys right now. He's trying to restore you. Don't just make this about your spouse, guys. Let me ask you something. Aren't all of you, like think about yourself. Aren't you important too? Aren't you important? Don't you want to live a life happy aside from your spouse? Seriously. You guys are better than that. You guys are wonderful. You're perfect. You're supposed to love your spouse. You're supposed to love your spouse, but you have a life outside of your spouse. Was Abraham and Sarah only Abraham and Sarah? No, Abraham had his own life and relationship with God too. Okay? Did Moses not pick up and leave his wife to fulfill the assignment God gave him? Yes, he did. Okay? Like, we have to start examining all of this, guys. You're not just you and your spouse. You have a life and a calling apart from them. Okay? So we need to get ourselves to that point. This is why you have to allow yourself to accept where you are and go through your journey. I hope that this helps, guys. I love you all so much. Remember, we don't have long of the fast left. If you want to work with me, I'd love to work with you and help you along this journey. My prices are very affordable. You can reach out through email, deadmarriagesredeemed@gmail.com. I try to keep the email very, very easy. And then the Facebook group, come on over, guys. Come join the family. Dead Marriages Redeemed. We would love to have you. It's on Facebook. Come on over. We'd love to have you. But just please, if everybody could, be respectful and be non-judgmental to everybody. We're here to lift people up. And when people get out of character and they're expressing how they feel, lift them up. But the people that are in that spot, don't stay there. All right, guys, I love you all so much. If you could, please like this video, comment, share, subscribe. It helps me out big time. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.